Hi everybody. Today we're going to do something called factoring by grouping. It's super easy once you get the hang of it. So what's this lesson? This is lesson 7-10, and that is going to be factoring or factor by grouping. Okay. The nice thing about these is you could tell when you have to do these because I'll give you the first example and you'll be able to see why. 1 is x to the third plus 6x squared plus 5x plus 30. Okay, so everybody see what's different about this? We have 4 terms here. So far we've done 2 and 3 terms. 4 terms we haven't done. Well, that's because it's too big. Okay, so if you have 4 terms, we're going to cut it into 2 problems, 2 sub-problems. Okay, so we're going to put a parentheses around the first 2 terms. That's a 2. I don't want to lose that. And then the second 2 terms. Okay. Okay. We do the GCF of the first 2 terms here. So x to the, or the first binomial. So x to the third plus 6x squared. Well, you have x squared that you can take out. So we take it out. We divide. And what we're left with here is x plus 6. The way I know that is 3 minus 2 is 1, so there's still an x left over there. And this here, the x squared and the x squared canceled out, and there's still a 6 standing there. Okay, now we have to do that again for the second part of this. So we want to take out a 5 here. 5 is the greatest common factor. 5 goes into 30 evenly. We're going to take it out with the plus sign. Plus 5. What's left over, well, if I divide by 5 in each spot here, what's left over is an x, and then 30 divided by 5 is 6. Okay, well, lo and behold, look what we have. We have the binomials are the same. So now our greatest common factor of this here is x plus 6. Okay, so what happens there is we're going to write the x plus 6. That's actually our GCF. When we cancel out the x plus 6, what we're left with is x squared plus 5. So we've done this part before. The second part is just factoring by grouping. I'm sorry. The second part is just, what is the second part? What am I trying to say? I don't know. Never mind. Okay. This is x squared plus 5. Oh, the second part is just the GCF is a polynomial. That's what I meant. Okay, let's do another example. Maybe I'll get through this one better. Okay, my second example is what? Is x to the third minus 3x squared plus 2x minus 6. Okay, so we have 4 terms. We're going to cut it into 2 terms each. So we're going to group the first 2 terms and we're going to group the second 2 terms. Okay, now we just have to take care of the first 2 terms here for now. So we have an x squared that can be taken out of each of these. It's the lowest exponent. Okay, so we can take out an x squared. So if we divide by x squared, well, here we're going to have the x to the first left over, and here we're going to have minus 3. Okay, now we have to GCF the second set of parentheses. So can everybody see that the 2 goes into 2 evenly and goes into negative 6 evenly? So we're going to pull out the positive 2. You have to write a plus 2 there. And then what's left over after I divide by 2 in each term is an x minus 3. Up, Look how exciting that is. These look like my favorite. Okay, so now we have x minus 3, x minus 3. That is our greatest common factor now. Okay, so what I mean by that is I can divide each term by x minus 3. X minus 3, x minus 3's cancel out. What I'm left with is x squared plus 2. I guess I should make that pink. X squared plus 2. So this is your answer, x minus 3, x squared plus 2. All right, let's do another one. Okay, number 3. Hopefully you're starting to get this. 9x to the third plus 18x squared plus x plus 2. Interesting. Okay, so we have 4 terms. We're going to break it up into 2 groups of 2. So parentheses around the first 2 terms, parentheses around the second 2 terms. Okay. Like many of them, we have an x squared and an x to the third in the first binomial. So we can take out the x squareds. Okay, but you have to go back and look at the numbers also. We have a 9 and an 18. 9 goes into 9 evenly and 9 goes into 18 evenly. So we're going to divide also by a 9. So our greatest common factor is 9x squared. Okay, once we divide out, we just have an x left here, right? X to the third and x squared would leave you an x to the first, or x. The 9's cancel out, so what we have left on the inside is an x. And then the second one, we have x squared and x squared. Those cancel out. 18 divided by 9 is 2. So that's plus 2. Plus 2. Okay, now here's the part that's a little different. In the second binomial here, right here, that's a positive x and plus 2. There's really nothing we can pull out except for a 1. If we divide by 1 everywhere, so I'm going to do that, what happens is you take out a plus 1. The reason I'm dividing by 1 is because the coefficient here is a 1. It's the best we can do, okay? So I'm going to take it out, but I'm going to take it out as plus 1. We're dividing out a 1. It's a positive 1. What we're left with is x plus 2, which, look at that. Now you have your common factor. And the common factor here is x plus 2. Ah. Okay. The x plus 2's cancel out, and you're left with 9x squared. Oh, sorry. That's not what I meant to say. So the x plus 2 is your greatest common factor. My goodness. That's your greatest common factor, so we can cancel those out. And what's left over is 9x squared plus 1. That's why we have to pull the 1 out. We need something to fill in that placeholder. Okay, that's number 3. One more. Number 4. 6x to the third plus 3x squared minus 24x minus 12. Well, okay, here we go. We have 4 terms here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That means we're going to break it up into 2 groups of 2. So we put a parentheses around the first 2 terms, and we put a parentheses around the second 2 terms. Now we only have to find the GCF of the first 2 terms. So the GCF here, well, we can take an x squared out of each, so we're going to have an x squared. But you have, my goodness. x squared, x squared. That's coming out. But also look at the numbers. You have a 3 and a 6. Well, 3 goes into both of those evenly. So 3 goes into 3 and 3 goes into 6. So our greatest common factor is 3x squared. What's left over goes on the inside. So it's 6 divided by 3, which is a 2. X to the third divided by x squared is just x to the first, or 2x there. All right, now this guy here, 3x squared and 3x squared cancel out to be a 1. You need a placeholder there. So it's 2x plus 1. Now on the second one, this is just a little different also. We're going to take out, well, we know we can take out a 12. Does everybody see that? There's 12 and 24. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to take out a negative 12 because you see this sign here? That has to come on the outside. So it's negative 12. So we're going to divide each piece by 12. And what you get left over is a 2x minus 1. Wait, no. Oh, sorry. I divided by negative 12. I took out a negative 12, so I have to divide by negative 12 each place. Negative divided by negative is a positive 2x. Negative divided by a negative is a positive 1. And look at this. See, I knew I made a mistake because look, you see the second parentheses there? It has to match the first, or else there's something wrong. Very wrong. Okay, so we are going to divide out the common factor, which is 2x plus 1. Okay, so if we're dividing that out, we're going to put a 2x plus 1 as our first factor. Cancel, 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 cancel. And we could put in 3x squared, that's what's left there, minus 12. Okay, that's it. That's what you got there. All right, so I'm going to put some questions up for you to do, some problems for you to do, and I will be back for the next lesson. Okay, so hit pause, try these 4 questions. I will put the answers up after so you can see how you did. Okay, so here are my answers. Hopefully your answers and my answers look similar. So check them out. I'm just checking, double checking mine. Yep. Yep, everything looks good. So if you did something wrong, just try to look at it and see what I did. Okay? All right, have a great day, everybody.